friendly viewers, I am DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on channel NITT. So far, we have produced a lot of MBTI and ENTJ videos. We hope you really like it. So in this episode, we're going to continue to talk about something that the ENTJ does much more often than the other MBTI types. What do you think it is? There is one thing that I believe that the ENTJ is more prone to doing and really did it far more than the other MBTI types. I have also told my personal friends when I have done this particular thing, and they say, oh no, you shouldn't have done that, or they wouldn't have done that. In case you are still guessing, it is burning bridges. So far, I have burnt So far, I think I have burned about 4 to 5 bridges. I'm not too sure, but definitely there are 4 distinct bridges that I have burnt. What is burning bridges? When an ENTJ burns bridges, they are very sure that they will not want to be associated with the person or this bridge anymore. So I'm going to spend some time talking about this burning bridges. The first question is, why does the EN burn bridges, and which type of person usually gets burnt? In my personal experience, the group of people that I burn bridges with are usually my business associates or people that I work with on a work basis. There is no ex-lover that I have burnt bridges with. Even though I may not want to see this person again, I do not burn bridges with my ex. But different ENTJs may behave differently when they are burning bridges. But I would suppose that most of the time, if an ENTJ were to burn bridges, it may be related to the work context or the business context. I must say that usually the ENTJ is very solution focused. They are also very mindful of not giving the other person inconvenience. So when they burn bridges, it is a very big thing because they are going to disgrace the person, which is not usually what the ENTJ wants. The ENTJ burns bridges usually as a last resort. Well, take note, a lot of people think burn bridges means okay, they're going to have a breakup and they're not ever going to talk about it again. Burning bridges is more than that. It is a very ugly, violent breakup. So much so that you totally have got a face off. Like, okay, you scold the person until his face is in the mud. You condemn the person with very mean words. Like, I'm sorry, I know you're trying to keep me, but I no longer want to work with an incapable person like you. And go on and on and on. As you may have already guessed, all these things may have already been rehearsed. They are on standby mode. However, usually the ENTJ doesn't want to go to the extent where he has to unleash all these rehearsed words out to the person or the target person. Sometimes they are left with no choice. Let's say I want to resign, or I want to break away from this association, or I want to stop working with this business partner. So I tell the person politely. However, usually the other person might get very reactive and doesn't want to let go. This is a time when the ENTJ just unleashes. The ENTJ has thought about it before, that there is a potential that this person might bite. So we go on this phase of burn bridge mode. And when we burn bridges, the person has no time for any comeback. Because we just we go like a bullet gun. We have thought about it, we have even rehearsed it mentally in our brain. So when we burn bridges, it is very potent, it is very violent. But take note, it seldom happens because this is not an outcome that the ENTJ wants. So far, I have burnt usually, if it is possible, a harmonious break will be ideal. However, sometimes the other person just keep on pestering or even start to howl bad insults at us. This we will not take lightly. You don't insult us when what you are saying is very TI. If you are using facts, you want to criticize us, that's okay. But when you start doing something very emotional, this is when we will come back at you. Of course, when an ENTJ engages in burning bridges, what this really means is that we will not want to see you again. We have thought about it, that burning bridges is an option. And when we thought about it, we know that we will never want to work with you again. We will not back you. We will never have this chance of ever having to go back to you or back you. Usually an ENTJ is already very efficient. They may have a lot of different talents, so they know that if they don't have you, they can still survive.
Maybe I'm too good for you. Oh.
They also know that they will not need to get back to you, because on their own they can set up their own company, or on their own they can stop doing this business. You can badmouth this ENTJ in your industry, but the ENTJ will work in another industry. You can't get them.
You can't catch me.
So in this case, because the ENTJ uses TE, and the TE helps the ENTJ in considering all possible outcomes, when the ENTJ burn bridges, it means that they know that this outcome is okay. It will not come back to haunt the ENTJ. The ENTJ will burn bridges when he is very sure that he will not contact you ever again. So if you are the person on the other hand of this ENTJ burn bridge mode, then you can be very sure the ENTJ never wants to see you again. So goodbye. So just now I mentioned that I have actually burnt bridges about 4 times in my life. That's actually a lot. So I think that from the MBTI point of view, the ENTJ is one of the most prone to doing such a thing, besides the INTJ perhaps. A face-off with an ENTJ is definitely unpleasant. The person is usually taken aback. They did not know that there are so many things that the ENTJ did not tell the other person who has been on the other end of the burning bridges.
To turn in tables.
Suddenly they say, huh? You have been thinking that incapable all the time? You have been thinking of this all the time? It is somewhat unexpected. But the ENTJ provides evidence. Not only that, they just go on and on like a bullet gun or bullet train. So the other person usually doesn't have time for a comeback.
Get ready, any minute now.
Be careful, this can become a very emotional event for an ENTJ, and he or she is also very likely to howl insults at you. May even escalate to shouting at you.
I already fired you! Why are you still here?
This is especially possible because the ENTJ is FI inferior. When they are overstressed, their FI may take over. Now that I have become more mature, do I think that I will engage in burning bridges in the future? Definitely yes. I think it's a very ENTJ thing. In our common day transactions, the ENTJ is usually on the enduring mode. We are trying to endure a lot of nonsense coming from other people. Just to give you more examples, I am in a volleyball meetup group where we have a lot of different people. Usually we try to be polite and sensible and considerate. So in a game of volleyball, 12 people will play at the same time. So during a meetup, about maybe 18 people are invited. So we take turns to play. There are some very inconsiderate people who will continue playing and playing without leaving the court. So technically, after you played, you may want to stay one more round, and then the next round, you will automatically want to give other people a chance. But there are some people who do not have this kind of awareness. It makes the ENTJ somewhat angry because the ENTJ believes in fairness, and TE is always geared towards thinking from the other people's point of view. The other people come too, they also want to play. Unfortunately, I am not the organizer, so I will not speak up in this case if I observe someone behaving in this kind of mode. However, if I decide forever that I will not ever participate in this group, then I might unleash on this inconsiderate one and just scold him or her, telling this person that you have been so inconsiderate. And what this also means is that I will never ever join this group again. And I will not ever want to be associated with the people in this group.
Finally push one through Sterling, Brown Sterling! Did you see that? Here comes the spark straight to the man!
And I will not talk to this person ever again. But usually before that, I probably wouldn't be talking to this person because this person is doing something that I find not appealing to my sense of justice. Now this is just an example. Usually the face-off or the burning bridges happens on a work basis. Sometimes when you are working with a business partner, you are putting in a lot of effort but you don't see the other person doing as much. So this is going to be very serious for the ENTJ. And when the balance is totally tilted, it can sometimes just lead to a face-off when the time comes. And I can say safely that usually for an ENTJ to come to the stage where they are burning bridges with you, it is to do with disharmony or injustice. They are usually putting in too much effort or they think that you are doing something that is unfair for others or for the ENTJ. Okay, I hope you found this episode interesting as well. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more ENTJ and fun videos. Okay, I'm going to sign off now. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and I will see you in my next episode. Goodbye!